that shouldn't work.
Yeah, thank you.
We're having technical difficulties. Oh, my mic is off.
Alright, so we don't have any music.
Give it a minute. Wait, what?
It's quick for something.
Oh my god.
Arts and girls classes. I was thinking they were those, and then also a really dumb reference. Girls way better.
Dumb references are the best references.
What? Shitty one reference.
You put me on the spot right now. How many breads have you eaten in your life?
8.
Damn.
Let's not worry about this. This is just an intro. Okay. Alright, so we're going to start the panel off with the intro.
Yeah.
Alright, so thank you. This is my first panel, so I'm excited to show you everything. There we go.
I'm going to be the necrophere, just pulling the strings, and or would that be magical marionette? It's been a while. I'm not good with Bakura's deck.
Alright, yeah, so here's Dark Necrophere.
Dark Necrophere is awesome.
I love that monster. So, the idea of this panel was that Kazuki Takahashi originally wanted Yu-Gi-Oh! To be a horror manga, but it ended up becoming a game manga, so it wasn't card games to be at the right away, you know what I mean? Like, he had 2 chapters that had to revolve around the card games. Can you hear me? Yeah. Alright, I apologize.
So yeah, in general, for those who couldn't hear him, it was just mentioning how the Kazuki Takahashi wanted Yu-Gi-Oh! To be a horror manga with a game element before it eventually did become more focused entirely on games.
And this was the original design of Yami Yugi.
I love it.
He looks like a monster.
He's Bones.
He looks like a
Wrong character.
Bones was the rejected protagonist the whole
Gerd, get your lore right. Goes to a chance as Clown Kaiba.
He looks like the anime version of Chinese.
Okay, does that make any more sense in Japanese? Because I've only seen that in English, and Clown Kaiba makes no sense to me.
No.
It's like, I am Kaiba's evil half, I'm a clown, what?
The rejected Shadow Realm side.
It's weird.
Rejected Shadow Realm.
Very rejected. Remember that time that Kaiba threatened to fire God because the universe sucks?
That was a great time.
That was my favorite.
I feel like they spelled his name wrong on the check when he bought the car.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, let's see. So we're gonna talk about Cenobites. Do any of you guys know what Cenobites are? Raise your hand. Alright, we got a few of you guys.
So that, by default, that means everyone else doesn't?
Yes, so I'm gonna explain. So the movie Hellraiser, oh there we go. The movie Hellraiser right here, these are the Cenobites. They're
I'm
like,
sure they can see the mouse.
You can see the mouse.
Oh, cool,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
so these are the Cenobites. They're like interdimensional demons or something, right?
Yeah, they're like the BDSM demons.
Yeah, and they love torturing everyone.
Yes.
Oh no.
So the general plot of Hellraiser is that you get a puzzle box because people who are desensitized by the rest of life, and it's like, oh, you're gonna experience all the pleasures of the outer world, and then they bring in the Cenobites and they usually murder you and torture you.
Yeah, like ripping flesh, using chains to pull your flesh, you know, BDSM stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So these horror monsters right here, they're kind of iconic, I guess, right?
Yeah, very much.
Very iconic. They inspired tons of different animes, like for example Berserk, the God movies. They're definitely based on the Cenobites. But with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not very clear who was a Cenobite when it came to the card game or the manga, because they don't really want to promote that kind of stuff. But they have inspiration, and I'm assuming they're references.
Yes.
I had to do research by asking some horror experts what monsters were based on the Cenobites, and I got my answer.
No, okay, a lot of these are wide speculation, but at first glance we're okay, that totally drew inspiration from, it was Clive Barker who did Hellraiser, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, let's go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Here are the Yu-Gi-Oh monsters that are based on the Cenobites.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Genzo is,
Genzo is in there, I knew it.
yeah.
Genzo rules.
Genzo's Pinhead. Chatter is, what's this guy's name again? Dark Nuvoria or something?
Yes, I think it was Dr. Boria.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now, I apologize. But then we got Butter, I can't remember his name.
It's just a Butterball or Butterbean.
Yeah, it's like Butterball or something.
I thought it was JK.
Dirk D, I think his
Dirk
name
East
is.
or something?
Yeah, Dirk East.
But-
He's based on him. He
Yeah.
has a portal for other demons coming out of him. This card never got released in the TCG because of how stupid it is.
I want it.
It's probably not even a good card. Yes?
Oh, I believe it's in, I remember, I think it's in Duel Links, actually.
It is in Duel.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It's okay.
Yeah, Duel Links is T for T, so they get away with a little bit more stuff than the actual card game.
Yeah, actually, so that creature looks a bit like, who's seen the movie The Gate? Yeah, it looks a bit like the creatures from The Gate, which is a really mediocre movie with some really excellent stop motion special effects. So if you like special effects, I recommend just fast forwarding through the movie.
And Dark Necrofair is based on female Cenobite. Unfortunately, female Cenobite does not have a name, but the other ones do have names. I think that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Let's just call her Dark Cenobite or something.
I don't know, wires, trachea.
So the Dark Necrofair has several inspirations according to the horror experts on groups that I've talked to.
Oh.
So we got Dark Cenobite.
Yes.
We got the android from
Metropolis.
Metropolis.
I actually don't know I've never seen that movie.
It's
Really? I heard it's not complete.
It's not.
It's
It's
so
not.
old that it's not
No,
complete.
It's not.
Huh.
Unfortunate. But there is an anime version of it, correct?
Yes.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
This thing right here, let me look up what this thing's called. Female drag from the French animated film Fantastic Planet.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
That came out in 1973.
Wow.
So I think the color scheme was definitely for this, but they all kind of are bluish. Or it could have been the baby in her hand. There's not a real story for this baby.
Really? That seems like the first thing you would ask when they summon Dark Necrofair and the opponent's like, what's with that weird marionette baby?
So every once in a while, people get to ask Takahashi through Twitter and Shonen Jump because Takahashi doesn't like talking to people. They get to ask him questions, and no one ever asks him the good questions. Like, someone goes, what was Dark Magician Girl based on? He goes, we needed more females.
Good.
But no one's ever asked, what's Dark Necrofair's backstory? This monster is so interesting to me.
Nobody's asking about the good waifus.
Yeah. This is my favorite waifu, honestly. Alright, let's go to the next one. So here's Genzo, but in Japanese his name is Psycho Shocker. He's based on both Pinhead and Psycho Mantis.
Because,
No,
because the card game is distributed by Konami, you're gonna see that theme pop up a lot.
yeah, and I assume that Takahashi really likes Psycho Mantis because he loves the game.
Who doesn't? Psycho Mantis is cool.
You want to explain a little bit about Psycho Mantis? I don't
Okay, so Psycho Mantis is a psychic boss in Metal Gear Solid 1 who blew everyone's mind because it was one of the first games that was mainstream that had the rumble feature on the controller. So he would tell you, I'm going to control your controller, sets it on the floor, and then it vibrates like, oh no, oh, he's controlling my game. And he also reads your memory card, so if you played Konami games in the past, he'll know. It's like, you've been playing Castlevania. and like that just blew everyone's mind. And the way you're supposed to defeat him is to unplug your controller and plug it into the second controller port.
You messed with your controller and you couldn't beat the game.
Yeah, but like he like reverses your control and stuff, and Colonel tells you is like use the controller port stick. Wait, what? Controller ports? Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
And someone's like, no, like the person controlling you understands that. It gets really meta.
He also makes Nintendo game company.
Yes, on the GameCube he talks about Super Mario Sunshine and stuff. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This game's on the GameCube?
Yes, Twin Snakes was released, which is a remake made by I'm trying to remember their name, Silicon Knights, who went on to, made Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, very underrated, like, Lovecraft game. I'll talk about Lovecraft later. And they kind of destroyed themselves on 2 Human because they decided to sue Epic because they said the Unreal Engine was too complicated to use. So, I'm getting very off topic.
Do we have any questions about Psycho Shocker? Nah? Okay, Yu-Gi-Oh hat.
Do either of these inspirations explain how he disables traps? Is there like a reason for that, or is it just a cool effect to make it overpowered?
You got an answer for this? Because I do.
Oh, I do not.
Go for it. So, I think that Genzo Psycho Shocker is reverse Pinhead because Pinhead sets traps, but Psycho Shocker disables traps. You know,
that I do a lot.
let's get out of copyright, so disable.
I actually really like that.
Right, I think that's a cool idea. Now let's see what I got next. Okay, so we're going more into the Hellraiser franchise because, oh yes?
I have one question on Jinzo. Other than his ability, what is his reference to Pinhead? Because I see the other one, but I don't see it so much.
Generally, the drapey coat.
The drapey coat, he's pretty tall.
Here,
Here, let me go back a bit because this, the device that goes on his head, I guess, kind of references the pins. I don't know.
Yeah, there is an equip item that Jinzo uses that is like a spiky brain helmet.
Yeah, I remember seeing
So
that.
it's like, he looks a lot more like Pinhead when he puts that on.
Yeah, it's like an eclipse. I think it's definitely associated with Genzo because back in the day when Mattel had the toy line, they made a Genzo toy and it came with the accessory, but I don't think you could take it off of his head.
Gotcha.
So it was part of the toy.
Gotta stab all the children when they try to play with it.
Right. Alright, so now we're getting back into Hellraiser. So inside of Yugi's Millennium Puzzle is a labyrinth. And in the movie Hellraiser, there's also a labyrinth. And it's something that's not just a Hellraiser thing because other horror movies have done labyrinths, trapdoors. And
Labyrinths are a long-running thing in mythology.
Yeah.
But like in this particular case, because of the puzzle box and everything, then like you can surmise that they are tied very closely together.
Right. This boy's mine. It's like a huge maze. Let's begin. But the Millennium Puzzle was the original inspiration of, or not inspiration, reference to the puzzle box because you gotta assemble it and then it has a labyrinth in it and traps and stuff. But then the movie Dark Side Dimensions came out and we got something that it's a new Millennium item called the Millennium Cube, I believe.
I believe so.
Millennium Cube.
Yep.
Yeah, the Millennium
I'm
Cube.
creative.
Right. It fuses with the Millennium Ring. Spoilers.
Yep.
There are spoilers in here if you haven't read the manga, because we'll get into the manga stuff. But yeah, I think he really just wanted to make the cube look as similar to this puzzle box as possible. But these are all speculations that we came up with.
Yes.
But now we're getting into Devil Man.
Woo!
God, no.
Sorry.
So here's some inspirations from Devil Man. They're more like references.
References, just sort of callbacks. Devil Man, I think, is like probably second only to that Kira motorcycle scene in like times it's been like copied and referenced and like redone. Because there's a lot of, like, most of the things I love drew inspiration from Devil Man as well. Like, I'm a huge Shin Megami Tensei fan, and a lot of that is directly lifted from Devil Man.
So you say Fudo, Akira Fudo, that's the only reference there. Then we got Ryo from Devil Man, and then we got Ryo Bakura. And who hasn't seen Devil Man? Who doesn't want spoilers from Devil? You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I don't care.
You don't care about spoilers? How about you?
I haven't seen it, but I I think I know the ending, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I feel like that's an ending you can't suspect.
But if you don't want spoilers, let me know. I won't say it.
Someone told me it was like the SpongeBob pie episode, so I just kind of like
You know what? That's like, no, the butterfly episode.
the butterfly episode. Okay.
Yeah.
So Bakura shares the same name as Rio, and they kind of have the same personality. And spoiler alert for Yu-Gi-Oh! And Devilman. Stop me if you don't want to hear it. But Bakura is Zork, the actual devil of, I believe, Egypt in this franchise.
Yes, Zork is the god of darkness.
Yeah, god of darkness. The creator of the fake realm, the shower realm.
And the millennium.
And yes, the millennium items.
And if you walk too far away, you get eaten by a grim.
Yes.
Well, nobody got that joke.
So,
Yeah.
so not only is Yami Bakura just Zork instead of like Thief King, but Rio is the actual devil, Satan, and Devilman. And then we got Sharon from Devilman, and she's a harpy, and I believe that Harpy Lady was inspired by her. That's the only reference I can call.
Possibly, but yeah.
Then Miki Maki Mora is basically just Taya, but with a better attitude. Who doesn't talk about friendship.
Poor Teo.
Right. I like Taya. I want her to do more in the franchise, though.
I like fairy decks as a gimmick. I think they're cool.
And then,
Even if I play zombies.
and then Devilman had a few card inspirations. This one's a Destiny hero, and this one's just a card Merrick used.
Destiny Hero Malicious, I believe.
Yeah, that is delicious. And then we got Yu Bell from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
If I remember correctly, Destiny Hero Malicious in Japanese is Destiny Hero Devil Guy.
Oh, that's perfect.
Perfect. That explains.
Oh, they weren't even trying. I love that Japan just does that sometimes because they care too much and too little about copyright issues a lot.
Just turn your audio and dual links to Japanese. It's amazing.
Oh, I should do that.
I already do that. I like playing with Sartorius because he yells a lot in Dio's voice. Wardo, the devil, the lava. Yes, he plays a lot of torrent cards. So now we're going to talk about Yu Bell and her references, or what do we call Yu Bell?
Yubel's female.
Female.
Yubel, yeah.
But Yu Bell's both. In the English version, she was supposed to be
I'll put Yubel May, like gender neutral. Yubel is split in half and is like, feminine on one side, masculine on the other. I do know that she, uses feminine pronouns in the dub, but I think it's actually gender neutral in the Japanese, yes?
In the Japanese, she uses boku, which could be used as either
Yes.
young men or masculine.
Yes,
female.
that is, Ore is the most masculine if I remember correctly, Watashi is the most feminine, Boku's kind of in the middle. I remember that because I was the only one in the theater cracking up at Your Name. Because there's a scene where the character is trying to use the correct self tense and keeps messing up. And I thought it was very funny, but that does not translate well at all. Because it's like, yeah.
So Yu Bell was definitely inspired by is that Xenon, I believe his name is?
Yes.
Yeah, Xenon. And that's what Yu Bell's ultimate nightmare form basically is. As you can tell from the manga version of Xeon, he has the face in the middle and then the heads. Also, Yu Bell does have Satan's personality from Devilman.
Lucifer, two different characters.
Right. Also, yes, it was I, Bakura, the whole time. So, any Millennium Ring user has Zork's tusk horn things. So, here's Bakura. Here's Muhad, the original user.
That's actually really nice. I never noticed that.
Right. Then we got Gami from the movie. He has the tusks. And there's the tusks and the horns.
That design. I don't like that. Yeah.
There's actually an explanation. So what happened while Kazuki was writing this, he got an ulcer from stress and was hospitalized. So he wrote the last arc as fast as he could.
Yeah.
So he didn't give the dues to Seto, and he Kisara's relationship, and he couldn't change Zork's design, and he regrets it.
Oh, that's great.
A fun fact is he added an extra like 30 minutes to an hour to the Dark Side Dimensions that got cut because of time. Like apparently, I think the company's called NES or Konami or whatever. They were just like, no one wants to sit through more storytelling. They want card games because there was barely any card games in the movie.
False. I want more storytelling.
I agree. I was on this war.
I'm not here for the cards.
We need more Kaiba just ranting about dumb stuff.
Yes.
This one guy sucks. Whoever designed it.
I need
Oh,
more
I
shirts
love
that
that
fit
so
Kaiba
much.
worse.
So he wanted to add more. He wanted to add Kisara to the movie and get that story out, but he didn't because Konami or NES was like, nah, we don't want this.
That's dumb.
We all want
Yeah.
this. I thought they were gonna pull Dragon Ball Z with Dark Side Dimensions and give us a whole full fleshed out season of Yu-Gi-Oh, but that never happened. We have hope one
We
day.
can dream.
I'm always gonna dream.
I mean, I like that one dude with the stupid Ouroboros hair from that image that I don't know if it was real or not.
Oh, now that you reminded me of Gozaboro Kaiba. So you all know him from the anime and that filler arc with Noah, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, his real backstory, I can't pull it up, I didn't save it, but his real backstory is he told Seto that you gotta make more money and prove that you can own this business. Seto did that. He didn't think it was actually gonna happen though. So when Kaiba came back and he's just like, look, I just bought your business and all your stocks. He's like, well, this is the price to pay for being a loser. Remember this, Seto. And then he jumped out the window of his really tall building and killed
Yeah.
himself.
Good.
Yeah, there's a lot of suicide in this.
Yeah.
In the manga version.
Some assisted, some not assisted.
So when it came to Duelist Kingdom, Kaiba told Yami, look, if you attack me right now,
Whoa! I'm sorry, I didn't make that connection until
no, I just blew your mind.
That's actually really
I blew your
cool.
mind.
I,
Kaiba was just like, if I lose, I will
I
die.
will die.
And he got that straight from Gozaburo from the manga, but since the anime never did that, no one understood it.
Oh,
That's really
my
cool,
God.
actually.
I kind of want to pull up that chapter somehow.
I'm gonna probably steal that for my panel next if that's cool.
Cool.
No, it is mine.
You can steal it from me. I'll just repeat it like verbatim.
Joke.
No, you can add it.
Okay. My panel's next, by the way, in event 6, and it's also
Woo.
I will try to make it.
That's okay.
I'm on a time limit. So let's see what else we got. Okay, this is
Oh, yes, okay, so, I love card archetypes, that's kind of been my thing for a bit, but this is so, like, in general, the alien archetypes is heavily based off of Ridley Scott's Alien. Alien Warrior is very closely related to the Xenomorph. Alien Mother's obviously the Alien Queen, and my favorite one of the bunch is Alien Dog.
Someone else remembers.
What?
I'm so happy someone else remembers.
Yes, so one of the rejected designs for the Alien and Aliens was a dog in a costume. And there's nothing that really supports this, but I really, really want to think that Alien Dog was directly inspired by the alien that they didn't use in the movie. It's probably not, but a man can dream. And there's a little bit of Lovecraft going on with the cosmic horror, Gangli, which is pretty close to Cthulhu, or at least some type of elder god.
That is Cthulhu.
Yeah. There's another one that's kind of similar, but like, Gangli is like a bit Gangli, I can't pronounce that. Just like most Lovecraft stuff. But looks the closest to Cthulhu out of the bunch. But I love the Alien movies. It's a shame there was only 2 of them, and none of the others exist.
That's basically how Hellraiser is.
Yeah, there's only 2.
There's only 2, unfortunately.
That video game one isn't real.
Wait, for Hellraiser or Alien?
Yes. No, Hellworld is stupid.
Listen, everyone should go watch Hellworld and then try to forget it.
I drink to forget Hellworld. I drink to forget Prometheus. I actually kind of like Prometheus, honestly.
I like Prometheus, but I didn't see the first one. I saw Alien Covenant.
Oh, you can get to.
So, do we have any questions before we go on to the next slide?
Alright.
Alright. Alright.
Okay, so we were speaking of Lovecraft stuff. they barely even tried to cover up the names that it's like that they were inspired by Lovecraft. Outer entity Nyarla is obviously based off Nyarlathotep, who is very. So one thing about Lovecraft, how many of you are familiar with H.P. Lovecraft? Wow. Okay, how many of you have actually read his stories? Oh, you know all about the uncomfortable racism. Here's H.P. Lovecraft and his cat, H.P. Lovecraft and his cat. You came up with the name Cthulhu. How can't you name your cat something normal?
Hates progress Lovecraft.
What?
Hates progress, Lovecraft.
Yeah. But okay, so yeah, Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos. Outer entity Begun Azathoth is based off Azathoth, who is a horrible mass of tentacles out in space. Old entity Hastur is obviously the god, the yellow fool god Hastur. And the final one, the outer entity Cthulhu, is based off Cthulhu, which is not related to Cthulhu in any way, because Cthulhu is a giant flaming ball of chaos. They look a little bit different in the anime. Okay, how many? Okay, I hope everyone got that reference. Okay, so that is a different anime. That is that is Nyarko-san Crawling with Love. It is it is a show about a boy who is in a cute little harem with a bunch of Lovecraft gods. So,
It's actually on my list to watch.
what's up?
It's actually on my list to watch.
It is such a good show. It's very funny. If you're a fan of Kamen Rider or JoJo, half the writing is just references to that. It is weird. Nyarko-san. Yeah, Naruto-san. It's also called Crawling with Love, because from left to right is Cthulhu, Nyarlathotep, and Hastur.
If anyone was wondering what's in that box, I just got a little tiny yummy.
Oh, that's cute.
I've been trying to get this all weekend.
And hey, we're back to Konami. So the vampire, I love the vampire archetype. It is what I played in Duel Links for a long time until they nerfed it. How many of you played the card game? All right, cool. How many of you are angry at me because I play Skull Serpents? I really love zombies, but Vampire Scarlet Scourge is very clearly based off Alucard. Vampire Hunter is based off. I think it looks closer to Trevor than he does Simon, but the designs are so inconsistent that it's that's not really it's like kind of hard to really pin it down. Vampire Fraulein, I learned this from the wiki, is based off Carmella, who I'm bringing up her game art because it was kind of hard to find really good art of her from the anime. How many of you watched the Netflix show for Castlevania?
Not me.
Okay, it is very good. I recommend it.
I've only seen season 1.
So 4 episodes of season 1. I hate that they call it season 1 and 2. They should have just called it part 1 of season 1 or part 2 of season 1.
Is that a JoJo reference?
Yes, everything's a JoJo reference. Especially vampires. The odd one out is Vampire Grace, who is based off Elizabeth Bathory. Which, who's familiar with the story of Elizabeth Bathory? Okay, so those not familiar, she is I believe the most prolific female serial killer. She really enjoyed bathing in younger women's blood because she believed it kept her pure, and she was the inspiration for many vampire stories because of that. Never confirmed, yes, but like the story, and it's such a cool story.
If you could turn a horror monster into a Yu-Gi-Oh card, which one would you do? I will pick you if you raise your hand. You first.
Graboids.
Graboids?
Oh, that'd be so cool!
I just got into, I'm dabbling into the Amityville horror series and through a podcast, and apparently one of the tenants of the house, one of the spirits he saw was a cartoon pig with glowing red eyes and wolf teeth. That. I would want that as a card.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hated those movies, to be honest.
I want to see them so bad.
Yep.
Probably a Nyclade.
I didn't hear it.
Nyclade, it's an Arcadian demon. Anyone who's seen the most recent seasons of Ruby knows it. It's
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm Ruby. Sorry, you didn't end up reloaded it, yes?
The coagula.
Okay.
Do you know what the coagula?
Wait, I think I'm remembering something else.
From Get Out.
Okay.
Spell card.
Yeah, okay, I feel dumb now, so yeah.
Dude, give me the Babadook as a card.
That'd be so cool, I love the Babadook. Yeah. Oh, how would you defeat it? I play Witch. Yeah. That'd be a cool
I
one
wonder
too.
if there is a Freddy Krueger.
We were looking high and low trying to find like a card based on Freddy Krueger, and we were having many difficulties.
Fun fact, there's a mix between Jason Voorhees and Leatherface, but he's not a card, he's an actual character that Kaiba hired to kill Yugi and his friends.
You have a pen on that?
I believe so, but if I don't, I can pull it up.
Okay, yeah.
Panic?
No, this is manga only. Oh, his name was Mr. Chop.
Red
Yeah, Chop.
Chop. The Thing?
Oh, yeah, no, there's actually a couple cards based on that.
Have you heard of Necroface?
Yeah.
It's a baby head, but it has like the thing like in it.
Yeah.
All right, next slide.
Next one. Yes, so this one made me really hate the wiki because so so this is actually a bit of an odd one because many of the Vendred cards are based on Resident Evil, which is not a Konami property, and the Revendreds seem to be based heavily on Spawn. The wiki seems to really think that the Revendreds are based on Albert Wesker from Resident Evil. To which I yelled at my computer for 20 minutes saying, no they're not, why do you think this? It's clearly Spawn.
But we're gonna talk about the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Spawn.
Sorry, I just wanted to go.
What just happened?
I just wanted to Vendred Chimera is based heavily on the T-Virus and G-Virus. More specifically the G-Virus, because that is the one that actually does combine animals and like make them crazy big and stuff. How many of you like play Resident Evil?
Does watching videos on the lore count?
That's fine. And okay, so I cosplay Tofu. I didn't bring it to this con because it's kind of a hot cosplay. Vendred Houndcore is clearly based off of the famous Resident Evil dogs that gave us that really good scare in Resident Evil 1.
Tofu's pretty sexy though.
It's bouncy. And like Revenge, Slayer, and Executioner are both based off Spawn, just different forms of him.
What about Chimera?
Chimera, like I said, it's like the G-Virus.
Alright.
Yep. So that is the Spawn is generally for those who don't know, it's a overdrawn manga that's just oozing with 90s edge.
Super 90s.
Is the most 90s thing you'll ever read.
So now that we talked about new Spawn.
That's called Spawn a manga. What the hell is wrong with me?
Did you?
I think I called Spawn a manga and not a comic.
Oops. What's the difference? That manga just translates to comic.
I guess. A reading left to right.
Right. Here's the original Spawn, Zambra. So in the manga, he really tried to do that comic book aesthetic going on. I don't know who this guy is, I'm sure he's a Spawn villain reference, but this is actually not translated because this is the Japanese scans. Help me! Oh no. Here, who are you? I don't know.
He looks like that villain. He looks like Zed from Power Rangers.
I'm Zambra. I love you. I think this might be a comic book cover reference, but I couldn't find one, so I took the video game art, which looks just as cool.
Yeah.
And here's the card art of Zambra. But yeah, he was in the manga before the actual card game, so Konami was just like, we can turn this guy into a card.
An utterly garbage card.
Yeah. Here's the Vendred Slayer, and then the card to summon him.
Revenge Red Origin, which is I forget what Spawn's name is, but it's like him looking at his dead wife and then becoming Spawn after he dies.
Yeah.
Like on the card art. And somebody goes like, yeah, that's based off of Albert Wesker. I was like, oh, I hate you so much, Wiki.
So the whole story with Zambra in the manga was this kid in Japan, him and his family are just really big comic book nerds. You know how we all collect figures and mangas and stuff and watch anime? This kid did the same book for American animations and stuff. So his father goes and buys him a Zambra costume from America and pays some actual street thugs to pretend to get beat up by this kid who's running out at night dressed up as Zambra. And then one day, the street thugs were just picking on Yugi because, hey, look, he's a twerp, let's kick his ass. So the kid's like, no, don't hurt him, he's my friend. The street thugs are like, hey, we know this kid. Walks away. Later, pulls out some knives on the kid and he's like, hey, you got in the way of us beating up Yugi. We're gonna kick your ass.
Beating up Yugi is like the highest currency in this world.
Apparently.
It's the most in-demand activity you can ever do.
So I'm sure you've seen this fly around all over the internet, correct? So here's an interview where they asked Takahashi what his inspiration. Did you have any non-manga inspirations, Takahashi? I was a fan of Tim Burton's movie Edward Scissorhands, and that actually influenced Yugi's costume. I thought the lines and details of that sort of bondage fashion were really cool. Yu-Gi-Oh! Begins in a school setting, but having an ordinary school uniform jacket with a t-shirt underneath would be boring. So I gave Yugi the bondage element underneath the jacket. It's definitely unusual, Lance.
I actually do love that art design. Like okay, so like say what you will about like any of Yu-Gi-Oh's writing, like I generally absolutely love the character designs like so much.
If you want beautiful art, check out Dual Art. It's available on Amazon right now, but it's sold out everywhere else.
Yeah.
So I've asked people what's their favorite Yugi outfit, and everyone's just like Battle City because it's the most iconic, where mine's actually this version. It looks cooler in my opinion. Yes?
Is the collar like a part of the shirt, or is it something that goes on top? And in Battle City, it's just like a plain collar.
Yes.
Well, from this picture, it looks like it's part of the outfit.
Yeah,
I'm sure
that's
the anime was just like, let's make it a bit higher.
Yeah.
Bondage in a kid's show.
Yeah, every once in a while, like they will redesign anime characters. Go like, okay, this like animators go like, okay, I don't really like the way this looks. If you've read Hero Academia, you do know that like a lot of the characters are drawn slightly differently, and it's like the worst because the manga author really likes drawing thick girls, and no thickness allowed in the anime.
Right. Yeah, let's see what else I got. Okay, so Yami Yugi, the Pharaoh, he's a pyro. He likes burning people in the manga.
So many people on
Like, he's running around, I believe, with spray paint. Just, these thugs are trying to hit him with yo-yos and knives. And he's just like, hey, over here. They drop their cigarette, and you can see, where's the mouse? You can see right here, it's almost to the paint. I don't know how it caught on fire.
But I'm assuming it's flammable paint.
Yeah. So, he just burns these guys alive.
See, I told you it was.
For picking on the Spawn fan kid over here. There's his dad who's just like, what have I done? Also, everyone knows the famous scene with the escaped convict from jail who went into a restaurant. And Yugi just sets him on fire. And in the manga, it's not an illusion, but in Season 0, it's an illusion. Season 0 is just a toned down version of the manga, but everyone says it's the dark version of Yu-Gi-Oh! I really want them to read the manga. Am I a JoJo fan yet? Read the manga?
Yeah. Don't read the mangoes.
Yeah, the mandolins.
Yeah, how many of you aren't familiar with the one-finger duel? Okay, so
you can explain.
Okay, so generally during the fight with the convict, like there's convict holding Tay at gunpoint, and then Yugi's like, because this is before the card games were really part of the series. It was just he would just make up games, and whoever lost them would die. But so it was like, hey, I have an idea. Like, I'll battle you with one finger, and he sets up like this elaborate situation where the guy's like pouring vodka. And then he puts a lighter on top of his hand and goes, hey, well, you can use, he's like, I'm fine, I choose my index finger so I can shoot you. And it's like, but if you shoot me, that lighter will fall off your hand and go in, and ignite the vodka and burst you into flames. It's like, using the other finger, you can't fire your gun. And they're like, so the dude just said, eventually, like, he pours too much and the vapors get to it and then he bursts into flames, and it's awesome.
That guy's dead. No shadow.
So
realm,
dead.
just dead. He's burnt.
Well, death is the ultimate shadow realm.
Yes. So here's just some really cool horror scenes from the manga. Like that one time, the yo-yo thugs hung Yugi from his puzzle. Yugi, Chodochi, don't listen to a word we say. This wasn't translated, but the Millennium Ring is a very sadistic item. Like it has a mind of its own. The pendulums on it, literally like walking. So when Rio was not doing what the ring said during the RPG game, I believe, or a little before it. The ring just starts digging its pendulums into his chest, and it's just like, you will listen to me or I will do more damage.
It said it was supposed to feel like you were being burned from the inside out.
Oof.
Yeah. Oh, that was if you were not the ring's user. It would literally like catch you on fire from the inside. Your fire out your mouth, your eyes, your nose, everything. Like you just die from the inside if you were not the ring's user. Like no one could use it until Rio got it.
Well, except for that, like, thief guy in ancient Egypt, but...
I like this oh yeah, here's the translation of it. I like this panel right here because you know how when you get possessed, you don't really get control? But this time, the possession was getting possessed by Rio because he wants his body back. So he's like, you think you can control my left hand or right hand? Nope, stabs his hand into his dungeon on his tabletop game. Rio's all about tabletop games and Dungeons and Dragons. He was never really into duel monsters. That's why he never really wins duels against anyone except for Bones. Bones may rest in peace, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Or people like Pegasus, where it was more of just a Millennium item battle.
Yeah.
Right? Pecor's just like, hey Pegasus, I'm not playing your game, I'm just taking your eye.
That fight is so lame. It's like the smallest Kamehameha match ever.
Also, this panel of Merrick right here is one of my favorites from the manga. Kinda dark, huh? Drab.
It's Sunday.
I'm tired.
I'm Jason.
Maybe it will look better when I decorate it with your dismembered corpse. It won't take long.
Go. Medicine. Yeah.
Remember that time Kaiba said, but I'm not a murderer. I'll leave them the battleship for a lifeboat. Let's remember the times he was a murderer.
Yeah.
Now let's see how many make it out of the room without being flattened. Well, there was a bunch of cubes coming down to
Well, remember, Jigsaw never killed anyone.
7 movies later.
Ugh.
The thing is,
This movie's getting bad.
Saul was not even a thing when this was being made.
I know.
Everyone references to Saul. But then that one time he's like, the chop man only obeys my orders. If I say the word, the boys die.
Yeah, Chop Man was this dude with a chainsaw that he hired to go chase after Yugi.
The guns you've been given are mere toys, Yugi. But what you don't know is the mercenaries have real lasers. When they hit the sensor on your cyber vest, you'll be shot to death with 1,000,000 volts.
Just give them guns! You don't need to give them lasers that electrocute people.
Also, you guys know the first episode when Yami did Mind Crush to Kaiba.
Right.
So in the manga, when he did Mind Crush, it broke his soul into pieces, turning it into a puzzle. Kaiba was put into a
He was in a coma for a while.
coma the whole time during Duelist Kingdom until he woke from it, because right here in the small panel, he's putting his soul back together. Yugi wiped out the evil of his soul. So I'm assuming he doesn't remember all the times he wanted to kill Yugi.
So that's how you retcon a villain into a rival.
Yeah. It's not like Dragon Ball Z where you beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for that. I do have other things though. So let's find this. So here's screenshots from the anime.
Oh, good times.
Yeah. Then I'll let you see her. He's talking about Mai. In the dark world of death when you lose. What? What does that even mean?
Didn't I tell you that the woman is not merely sleeping? Even now, the two of us discussed this. Our spirit is slowly being devoured by the darkness. Is this Kingdom Hearts?
Yes.
Oh no!
I can hear them. Her screams as she withers in pain.
Rise in pain. Makes for the sweetest music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Merrick.
Merrick is pretty messed up.
I really hope I have the panel because the duel between Mai and Merrick in the manga was so intense. Like, the anime, you just lose memories. The manga, you feel the pain and you get the wounds from the monsters every time you kill them. Let me see if I got that. I know I have manga slides.
I just love how overdrawn a lot of the series. Even in the anime, like, there's so much detail on some faces, it's great.
This is not the mice.
Oh,
I'll get to that. No, I don't have the mice scene in here, apparently, but let's talk about this. Anime. Magical fairy dust brings your duel. There's the manga.
Okay.
Your
Yeah.
Your existence has the ability to warp this world. I have to get rid of you. And look, his arm. I thought about that. Would be the best way to destroy you. He just likes to gross out everyone in the manga.
Yeah. So Dual Disc grows out of his arm violently, like something out of Videodrome. I keep making weird, obscure references, and I'm sorry.
The RP did it again. RP brought it back.
What the
Nice.
fleshy dual disc?
RP brought it back, and so did technically Ubel.
You know, I watched all of Arc V subtitled. I don't remember that.
Near the end, Zark.
I know who Ubel did it.
Ubel did it, and Zark did.
Right.
Nice.
Konami was just like, what have we done by cutting this out?
Yeah, it's so cool.
This is good stuff. Okay, you know Arcana from, everyone referenced that. It's a song.
Yeah.
We're getting into the manga stuff now.
Is it called this is only in Pandora?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I make this bigger?
Oh, God.
There we go.
That's big enough.
Alright, let's see.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, he wants to cut off Yugi's legs.
yes.
Here's the
He's going for it. Yep. Remember the dark energy discs.
Yeah, right.
This guy crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, like, so for those of you who don't know how this duel worked, is that the lower your life points got, the closer the saw blades got to your legs.
So this room kind of reminds me of a room in Hellraiser.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's another thing with Hellraiser. Pandora, you're crazy.
Yes! The end.
Okay, let's see. A battle that kills people, I'm asking you, is it fun? I don't know. Oh, that's Pandora talking. Why, yes. Because I'm the one who wins, you filthy scum. Then I'll take you to the very edge of your life. And,
Then Yugi wins by summoning waifu.
right. No, you got me.
I love just the body art for when he's freaking out. It's so
They
well
use that in
done.
Duel Links.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do actually.
Okay, I think here's the part I wanted to read. As long as I have this, I can easily escape. Merrick chips in because he has the Millennium Rod. Ah, Master Merrick, don't you lose the duel, Pandora, then you must pay the price. Let's see.
And he does.
I can control your memory. I've erased the key from your mind. You can't see it or feel it. As far as you are concerned, it doesn't exist. Oh no! Yugi comes to the rescue, saves him. I think this is Merrick. Now, why'd you do that? Huh? All right, I'd better tie up the loose ends before I leave. Looking through the network of Pandora's past, I see 2 times when he considered suicide. The first, right after the death of his mother, and the second, when he lost his lover in a magic trick that went wrong. I want to know how that went wrong.
Saw blades.
Yeah. I'll bring back those sad memories and strip them. What was it? Yeah, I think that's strip them up I can't hear that word. The moment he wakes up, he will be assaulted by
suicidal impulses and end up killing himself. Ugh. I'll see you again, Yogi.
Merrick.
I did not know that was actually a feature. That is really messed up.
So basically, Pandora died after that duel because he committed suicide again.
Yeah.
I get
Off screen.
Yeah, off screen.
Crazy.
Right? There's
Yeah.
a lot of suicide in this
Yeah.
manga.
Yeah, but we're like pretty much at the end right here.
Yeah, we don't have a lot.
Yeah, we only got like 5 minutes left anyway. But
So who wants to win this art I had commissioned for the panel? Okay, let's have you guys line up and we'll just have you guys play rock, paper, scissors for it. Because I couldn't think of another channel game.
I was thinking Millennium Ring Toss, but
I don't have that.
I know.
So if anyone wants to come up and play rock, paper, scissors, we'll do this.
Be fierce.
There's some horror art.
Oh God, there's a lot of us.
Let the cameraman get in the middle.
This is gonna be the most intense game of rock paper scissors.
I'm so ready to die.
Okay, everyone shoot scissors.
I'm about to stand like way back here.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the top 10 interview.
Alright, let me.
I agree. Top 10 interview.
You too.
Okay, that's fine.
Alright. Rock, paper, scissors.
1, 2, 3. Oh wait, okay. Try that again. Okay.
So hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, do it this way.
Okay, you knew I was gonna pick scissors.
Alright. You next. Yep.
I'm just watching.
Alright, you get to stay. You next.
It's intense. No, I'm watching.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to need to clear this room because our next thing is a voice actor panel. You're talking to the people who are panelists, that's cool. You can stay there for a couple minutes. Everyone else is going to have to get up and go outside. If you want
All right,
to
next.
You want to do like other people going as well, just like me and another person, something like that.
What?
You want to do like me and another person as well, just speed it up.
Just get this
Yeah,
yarn and needly mess
you wanna go?
together.
Well,
Alright, next.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, next.
You failed me, Jacob. Let her know.
Alright, next.
Oh, alright.
The shadow game's getting intense.
Oh,
Lives are on the line, people. Lives.
oh,
Next.
Damn.
I'm not in.
Alright.
Oh, hey, it's you.
Oh yeah! You know what that means. We're going to the freaking beach, motherfucker!
Is it down to the final round? Is it
Right?
just me? Well, that was
Yes,
just
sir.
You win!
Should've gone rock.
Here is the prize from the great artist, I can't remember his name.
I knew I should've gone rock. I knew it.
James Patterson.
oh,
There you go.
oh goodness, it's horrifying. I love it.
This is a Hellraiser / Yu-Gi-Oh piece.
Oh wow!
Thank you.
I might not put this up in my house because it'll scare my nephews, but yeah.
I would put it up in my room, put it on my put it right
Thank you for coming, everyone.